We'll get more into it later. Take your feedback and phone calls. But it was a scary, scary finish to the Daytona 500. Gator, there was news today that created quite a buzz, and it was centered around our Lions because Mel Kiper has come out with mock draft version 2.0, Gates. And
oh, boy.
It's no point in keeping this a big surprise. You know what the Lions did, right, in Mel 2.0?
I assume I know what they did.
Which is?
Take Jeffrey Okudah.
Bengals take Joe Burrow first. Chase Young goes number 2 to Washington. With the third pick is in. The Detroit Lions select Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback, Alabama. Yeah. Yep.
What?
The Lions say they're not shopping quarterback Matthew Stafford, but there is some buzz that they like Tagovailoa, who might not work out for teams before April's draft because of a hip injury. Is that just a smokescreen? We're still 2 months away from the draft, of course. Stafford's contract is extremely tough to trade in 2020. The team could end up having $32 million in the dead cap hit, although that now is reported as not true. But Kiper goes on to say, but what if Detroit likes Tagovailoa so much that it keeps Stafford on the roster for another year? This pick also seems like the perfect spot for a team to trade up to get a quarterback. Whether that's Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, or someone else, could the Chargers or Raiders or Jaguars move up to jump the Dolphins at number 5 and get their guy? Everything is in play here, and since I'm not going to project trades, I'll stick with Tagovailoa at number 3. Okay, so the mock draft debuts this morning. I've got Get Up on ESPN. We've got SportsCenter on. They do like Mel's mock and say, here's what it is. And immediately, all the analysis turns to the Lions at 3. We've got the fulcrum pick in this draft. We've got the pick that apparently everyone is talking about and what's going to happen. There are basically 3 possibilities here. It's a smokescreen, a complete and utter smokescreen.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions are or will fall in love with Tagovailoa and take him. Or it's just wrong, and they're going to take Jeffrey Okudah at 3. I don't really know what this is. It's so far out, it feels impossible to really know what it is. But this gets talked about more and more, it seems like, every single day.
Well, I love that Mel's put it out there, that he's got it at number 3, because when you talk about mock drafts, Mel's is that's the good stuff. That's the grade A U.S. choice number 1. It's what you look for.
Pure uncut.
Right, exactly. That's the standard. And look, do I think they're gonna draft Tua at 3? No, I don't. But I love the idea that it would be under serious consideration. I mean, Mel doesn't do this willy-nilly. I'm sure he's got some sources that have said that, probably said a bunch of things, but one source has probably told that no, they're seriously thinking about taking a quarterback and trading Stafford. I mean, you could convince me that the right move is to draft Tua and not trade Stafford and have it work for the first year and then trade Stafford in the next offseason. You can convince me of that. I probably wouldn't want to do it. I still have my own pick. I want Derek Brown, but I understand it. There's we keep saying it. It's all about the medicals with Tua Tagovailoa. When he continues to clear hurdles, the probability of him getting drafted at 3 increases more and more. As he continues to clear hurdles, the probability of him being traded up to number 2 and being drafted at 2 increases. Either way, Lions are sitting pretty. They really are. In any scenario you slice up, this is not even if, let's say, Tua has a setback and now he's not the guy. Okay, then the Lions are stuck at 3 and they still have either Okudah or Derek Brown or Isaiah Simmons, and I'm fine with all of those guys. I really don't have any issue of any scenario that's out there, it's seemingly right now, how it paints the Detroit Lions in the 2020 NFL Draft. I love it.
Khang, when you saw this, what did you think?
Listen, I still think there's a less than 5% chance this happened. But there is reasoning there. It's not out of the blue. My 95% chance they won't do it is not because this is ridiculous. It would never he's, an awful, you'd never take a kicker this high or something like that. No, I get the reasons why quarterback position of need could be generational or at least elite in this league, right? I just think with Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia wanting to do everything they can to make this team better next year, this doesn't help them next year. But long term, it could be the right play. This is the Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes scenario. You have your guy, which is great because you can sit the next guy, which is Tua, for a year and wait. Listen, if you're going to burn a lottery ticket on something, you go big, right? This is going big. To me, I'm not as high on Derek Brown as Gator is. If you ask me who would I rather have, Derek Brown or Tua at 3, I'm taking Tua because I'm going boom or bust with that, okay? You guys know I like Isaiah Simmons. I just think he's a much safer pick than Tua. But if you're going to go boom or bust, like I said, if it's between Derek Brown, for example, and Tua, I go Tua. I don't think this is going to happen, but I understand the reasoning.
What if it's Isaiah Simmons and Tua?
I go Isaiah Simmons because I think he's a much safer pick.
The fact is, this is getting talked about more and more every single day. Every single day.
A day.
And when you get a guy like Mel Kiper jumping on board as a possibility and what he's projecting is going to happen, it feels like, it feels like it just needs to get discussed more and more and more. And we're going to have plenty of time to do it because the draft isn't this week. We've checked the calendars and confirmed.
This is true.
But Detroit's going to be watching this hip as much as anybody. Detroit's going to want the medicals as much as anybody. And it would also be an incredibly exciting move. Look, we've discussed how taking linemen early isn't the most exciting thing. It oftentimes can be the most prudent, but it's not the most exciting thing.
No, it wasn't exciting for Cleveland to take Joe Thomas, but Joe Thomas was the best lineman in football for the 10 years that he played football.
If Tua if Tua's the pick, all of the sudden there's tremendous buzz about the Lions in Detroit.
Even if he doesn't play for the first year.
I was going to say, it kind of goes away if they shut him down.
Of course, but people will be excited. We can speak to the feedback we get from people. As this Lions season sputtered to an end, the tank of give a crap was on E. Like, people are like, whatever. It felt like we'd crossed some threshold where some apathy had set in where it maybe hadn't set in previous seasons. If they draft Tua Tagovailoa, it's an injection of life into the Lions fan base, whether you like the pick or not.
Well, it doesn't guarantee that that edict of win now or else is done. It just means they spent the first pick in the draft on the future quarterback of the Detroit Lions. If they don't trade Stafford, win now or bust is still in play. You just used a different resource in that first pick.
All right, 248-539-9797. Is this the best move they can make? Would you endorse this? Mel Kiper 2.0. Lions take Tua at number 3. You'll hear some of what Mel had to say coming up today at 10:32 and get to more of your feedback and phone calls here on Karsch and Anderson on 97.1 The Ticket.